If you like bean enchiladas, you ought to check out Mixtapes. You should know the song.com and Rock Lyric Challenge games. The Rock Quiz BS podcast. So come give your brain a break and try to guess clues from rock songs with Race and Read your mixtapes.
Hello and welcome back.
Hello, hello, hello. Anybody out there? Out there?
I can hear you breathing.
Yeah.
Welcome
Good
back to You Should Know This Song. We are Mixtapes.
Hey, we're Mixtapes. I'm Reed.
I'm Race. You are Mixtapes, and I don't know all your names.
Right. Since you're listening, you've gone and done it now. You're Mixtapes. Hope you're proud of yourself.
We are certainly proud of you.
Right.
We are again in the outdoors. You can hear the little birdies. It doesn't sound like there's much going on in the way of cicadas.
Yeah, cicada wave, the cicada Armageddon seems to
Cicada
have
apocalypse
passed.
is what I'm using.
Cicada apocalypse.
Yes.
I like that. It's got a certain rhythm to it. It's passed. Apparently, we only have carcasses.
We are in the definite downturn here in this part of the country.
Right. Just a few things crunching under your feet. Nothing loud.
My dog's
in your ears.
been eating them. My little Stella. She's been.
There's fascinating information to be read about on the impacts through the food chain of this event.
Yeah. I heard. I think I mentioned it last time, but I heard that the hunting is going to be amazing this fall.
Yeah.
Because of all the extra protein in the diets of the animals.
The birds have plenty to eat. They can make more baby
Snakes
birds.
And turtles. By the way, I did hear a caveat. If you see a bunch of cicadas in a tree, do not walk up to the tree because the snakes are very strong in those trees, and they will drop out on your head. But anyway, that's probably enough of the public service cicada announcements.
That sounds like an interesting YouTube video.
So, what do we got this week? This episode, Reed?
This episode, we got us some prime cuts, our major primary thing going on there, and then we're going to do, I think, Route 66. Sounds good to me.
By the way, I did get some positive feedback on Route 66 from a listener.
Good.
That they enjoy doing the mental exercise of trying to get to the cities before we do.
Yeah. I mean, I dig it, but and that's all that matters.
Yeah, you're you.
That's all that matters. I dig it. And then, depending on where we're at, maybe an uncontrolled substance. We got a couple ideas for topics there that we might be able to play on. One of them. But first,
nest keeping.
Yes, thank you, Race. By the way,
I've determined that there's no fighting you, so I might as well just go along.
You might as well just go along.
Yeah, I can't win on any of that shit. So.
By the way, we are Mixtapes, and we're broadcasting from Race's Oasis. I missed one of my other favorites there at the front of the show.
That's what we hear.
I wasn't paying attention, and so
imagine that.
So, my lovely wife and I, went to see the MJ show at the Fox Theater.
Known locally as the Fabulous Fox.
The Fabulous Fox here in St. Louis, which is just a magical place if you have a chance to be. It's like a landmark. People come here.
It's a great theater venue.
People come here to see the theater, like from across the country.
Yeah.
It's pretty renowned, and the upkeep and the detail and all that. Anyway, the point I was on is that the MJ, it's a musical,
Sure.
Turned out to be. I'm a Michael Jackson fan in the music. I mean, it's hard to deny from the Jackson 5 stuff all the way through that there's really a lot of very good music in there.
Yeah. Regardless of your feelings about them, it's one of those you can't take away what they did.
Right. And so going to the show, I had the thought in mind that okay. I mean, I'm kind of my wife loves Michael Jackson, right? She's a little younger than me, so he really impacted her life.
Well, and my wife's actually a little older than me, and she's a huge fan. So it's
and I should say, to be correct, his music impacted her life. The personal story thing, we're not really
qualified
to know, feel like we have a position to judge or any of that. So she was super excited to go, and kind of an interesting side note to take up more time than I'm supposed to. A few months ago, she stumbled across it, unbeknownst to me, coming locally, And 2 nights later, after we discovered this from each other, 2 nights later, I stumbled across it unbeknownst to her. She bought tickets immediately. I knew that she was enough of a Michael Jackson fan that I was like, I'm buying her tickets for Mother's Day. You know what I mean? It's going to be a Mother's Day gift. I almost bought the tickets to the show secretly.
That
but
she'd already bought tickets.
I was thinking, maybe there's something else going on and I need to be sure. So I kind of gave it up, right? And she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you told me. I just bought tickets. You know what I mean? Anyway, so went to the show with, my position was, I'll see how it is. Her position was, I cannot wait to go see this.
Right.
And I was really impressed. Like, the story is cool. You see anybody's life story that's as storied. And they don't go into everything, certainly, but what they try to do is stick to the music, the musical impact, the musical journey. That wasn't from my gastrointestinal system. That was a horn in the distance. They try to stick to the music, the musical journey, his musical story, his involvement with Berry Gordy and the characters that
Right.
And there's a little bit about his dad, not a whole lot, but it's interesting to hear it at least told in the musical what he aspired to, kind of what he saw the possibility of accomplishing, right?
Right.
In music and to an extent in representation of black artists. He saw
through the music,
through the music, through his success, he saw the opportunity to make some statements, and he accomplished those things with a lot of personal effort and sacrifice and whatever, and apparently almost bankrupted himself entirely in trying to surmount some things, to accomplish some things. So the music, the dancing, the show is really well done. The stage setup and the lighting design, they figured out how to do a really, really good 3D projection and lighting effect without you needing 3D glasses. There were some parts of the show that were really impressive in that regard. Anyway, live band playing behind the dancing scene in most of the show, and then the orchestra in the pit along with them as well. So, I mean, musically, it was really, really great. I just wanted to say I recommend it for just about anybody.
Sure.
There's a lot of good music and a lot of reference to, Motown artists, a lot of reference to Eddie Van Halen and Slash.
Sure.
Later on, he was involved with, and other people. So it was pretty cool. It was really cool.
And you can't take away Quincy's impact
right.
on his music or on rock music in general.
Right.
We could have the whole that's not rock and roll argument, and it would be a wasted argument. Because
it is.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah.
So I just kind of wanted to
just don't tell my wife about it because I'll be having to go.
I think your wife is probably going to find out.
No, I'm
about
sure
it.
she already knows. I'm just being a smart aleck.
And that was in part because it was a cool show and because I do appreciate the music and the story about the music, but also in large part because I love my wife and she said she threatened me with bodily harm if I don't.
Sure, didn't address it. Absolutely. And God bless her. Anybody that's interested in hurting you, I'm behind. All right, well, I got one. So my daughter Amity, who is, by the way, one of our most loyal listeners, catches every episode.
Lots of input.
Always dropping input. She's one of the very few that she comments almost every time on her podcast platform. I believe she's on Spotify. But she said...
And not out of obligation because of, her father being a big ape.
No, I think she actually is enjoying it. She's given me some comments. So, but you never know with kids, right? But she did suggest that we put together, at least on Spotify, that's her platform, but we could do it on others, a playlist, since we can't actually play the music, and find a way to attach it to the episode, put a link in somewhere. The only thing slowing that down would be time. I mean, it's because you can't really just do one. You've got to do several. You've got to do all the platforms, or at least a couple of them.
Right.
But it's something that we're working on. If we can find an extra, half an hour to squeeze in and out, in or out of any day,
and as soon as we get a producer,
Yeah.
Yeah, right. As soon as we
production assistant.
Production assistant. Yeah.
But at any rate,
assistant.
so she is apparently again, as per Reed, she is Amity of Apes. She's
official. She's
officially
certified
an apes now. Yes,
certified apes with the badge and the 3D decoder ring and all that stuff. I think. Yeah. So congratulations, Amity of Apes. We'll be referring to you in that regard going forward. And I want to say I think it's a really good idea.
Oh, absolutely.
In and of itself. But, man, I appreciate anybody thinking about the show in that way.
Yeah,
you know
here's
what I mean?
how you could make it better. Here's something you could offer. Absolutely.
Yeah, if the show, has gotten under your skin a little bit about
there's cream for that, by the way. You can get the cream to rub that on.
Yes.
make it better.
Mixtapes, you should know this rash cream. So, if the show has gotten you a little bit in that regard, then there's something enjoyable in there, and you're thinking there's a cool twist on it.
Sure.
I don't know. I just appreciate the fact that it got to her, and it maybe gets to people.
As do I.
That way, it makes you think about it.
And frankly, all of the kids have given me a little something here or there. I'm not trying to single any of them out, thereby pissing off the other ones.
Right.
But all the kids have had some input. But really, like I said, Amity, she comments almost every week. She's got something. Sometimes it's meant for me, and sometimes it's something that we can share. But generally, she's always got something on the platform. She takes the time to say, "Hey, by the way,"
right.
And
we have mentioned some of your other kids and the things they've said and what have you. So we're not certainly not holding back.
All right. So we've eaten a lot of time so far. So you're ready to prime it up?
Let's prime. Let's go prime. I'm ready. I got a first clue. Do you want me to get
go
going?
Ahead. You start, and I'll pretend like I know what you're talking about.
All right. I'll get started then, and I see you with this clue and raise you a "you should know this" song. I'm really excited about this particular clue.
So I mumbled sour speech as I changed my name to Leech. Okay,
that does not ring a bell.
No, can I get a second clue?
I'm really hoping that this song rings to you because I am very excited about this song. I do want to talk about it for just a minute. Here's another one.
And my parasites kept driving me insane. No, it doesn't ring a bell, but I really like the lyrics.
You would like every lyric from this song, and I think you probably know it, but maybe you don't. It's a song called "Never Met a Dog" by a band called Vinegar Joe.
Okay, no idea.
That Robert Palmer frontmanned.
Really?
Yes.
Back in the day, pre-everything.
And the name of the album, Vinegar Joe, the song was released in 1972, and it was written by Robert Palmer. It is such a, if you listen to the song, you're going to listen to the song for a few weeks. I'm telling you right now. If you never heard it, just listen to it once. It's got this great slide guitar part. It's got, the lyrics are fantastic. Robert Palmer's singing is, just infecting.
And the band is Vinegar Joe.
Vinegar Joe.
Have you heard the rest of the album?
Yeah, there are a number of good songs. Really good songs.
Well, that's cool. Finding something that's 50.
So cool.
50 years old. Wow.
But the mystery is that when I went, I assumed, because this is briefly touching on the area that I grew up in here around St. Louis. You didn't grow up in the St. Louis area.
I never grew up. Yeah,
you didn't grow up. KSHE 95, the radio station here in town, it's very, famed and whatever. They have have had a thing for years of calling certain songs KSHE classics. And they're obviously older songs, but they're songs that are sort of legendary-ish hits, right? And this is a KSHE classic song. They're not necessarily the biggest rock hit that there was, but
right,
it's something
but it may have been something that really played locally.
Played locally and got a lot of good reviews locally and what have you. So this song is a KSHE classic, which is part of the reason that I was exposed to it when I was a kid. And I assumed, because I can't rave about the song enough, I assumed that certainly this song was broadly known.
Sure.
I went on the web to look for information on the band or the song, and there are snippets at best. There's no great information about the band at all, other than they had a little bit of notoriety overseas. History of how they came together, kind of who the players were, their backgrounds, any of that. It's really, it was really surprising. Again, because you get into a song a lot and it's on the radio and what have you, and you think, well, that song is,
everybody's going to know that.
Everybody's going to know that song. We hear it all the time here. Well, it goes to kind of how you can be deceived, not knowing your own regionality, but.
And you'd think with Robert Palmer being the front man that
the
somewhere
Robert
along
Palmer
the lines,
thing, even if it didn't sort of get heard until after he gained notoriety.
Sure.
Still, it seems like it would have bubbled up out of his past, but there isn't a whole lot out there.
Well, I'll have Vinegar Joe.
Such a really great song.
I'll have to find that.
That should be on a playlist because a lot of people would be replaying it. Anyway, that's my first one. What you got for me, Race of Apes?
I have this, and you should know this song.
All right, my lyric clue is now she's bulletproof. She keeps her motor clean. Wait a minute. And the next lyric is, and believe you me, she's a number 13. This does ring a bell. Now she's bulletproof. She keeps her motor clean.
And by the way, all of the 70s rockheads right now are yelling at you, just so you know.
Yeah.
Or maybe
and
70s
believe
and 80s,
you me, she's a number 13. I know I'm not getting the phrasing to fit. And believe you me, she's a number 13 is asking in my head, but it's not coming to the front. What is it?
It's Looks That Kill by Motley
Crue.
Written by Nikki Sixx, 1983. The album was Shout at the Devil. The main reason I did that is because I knew that you would not have expected me to do that.
Super know that song,
Yes.
of course.
Yeah.
Who doesn't know that song? Whether you want to or not.
Right, exactly. Absolutely. And She Keeps Her Motor Clean obviously tosses you towards the AC/DC song.
Yeah,
I think that might have been what kind
of... At first it sent me that way, and then I was like, no, you're not thinking of the right thing. And I know the little lyric before that and this second clue you gave me are not part of the AC/DC song.
Right.
But that is one of those things that's
I got you with the Motley
rolling
Crue.
around in my head right now because I'm like, you knew that, you dumbass. You knew it. Where's your head? All right.
So what do you got for me there?
I guess that sets me up. And you, my friend, my ape brethren, should know this song.
You could have a steam train. The lyric is, you could have a steam train if you just laid down your tracks. I want to say that's Peter Gabriel.
Well, go ahead and say it.
And the song is Steamroller. No.
Oh, very
Sledgehammer.
Close. Sledgehammer.
There we go.
Sledgehammer.
Sorry, it took a second.
Didn't even need a second clue. Your mind assembled the pieces. Nice. Yeah, Peter Gabriel, Sledgehammer, 1986, off of the amazing album So. Just amazing front to back. Another one of those albums.
I read a thing recently talking about essentially his how his first 3 albums as a solo artist,
yeah,
essentially the way that it was structured was intentional to build towards this.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I need to read that.
His working with his producers and so forth. Oh, there's a cicada. There's one lonely cicada. Working with his producer to try to get to where he wanted to be, what he wanted to do each time.
Right.
Building
what
on the framework musically to be able to say, okay, I want to work with these guys and I want to do this kind of production and so forth and so on.
Sure.
It was pretty cool stuff. If I remember, I'll try to find the link and send it to you.
Yeah, that would be great. I'm as you know, a huge Peter Gabriel fan, so I would love to hear that. He also has a new album out, I believe, but at least no. Sheryl Crow has a new album out. Did I touch on this a couple episodes ago? Sheryl Crow has a new album out, and she did a cover of. Can't think of the name of the song right now, but a really great cover of one of his songs with him. The two of them did a duet, and it is really, really cool. I mean, it's just a great version of the song. So go listen to that, everybody. Hey, I got that one. You got that one.
I did.
Hey, you got that one.
Imagine that.
All right, so hit me with a lyric clue.
Well, here, you should definitely know this song, much more than I should.
Man, I hate when you set me up like that.
That's why I do it.
Because when you do it, then I'm like, oh, come on. Okay, lyric is, empty your pockets, son. They got you thinking that what you need is what they selling. Ha. Ha. Oh, my gosh.
You ringing any bells?
Empty your pockets, son. They got you thinking that what you need is what they selling. It's not ringing any bells.
Really?
And it's going to hit me, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Song is called No Shelter. The band is Rage.
Oh.
How did I get you on a Rage tune?
How did you get me on a Rage tune? There'll be no shelter here. Oh, my gosh. It's all the phrasing. It's the same thing that happened with the... If you don't hear the words right in your head sometimes, if you don't hear them the way they're placed in the song...
Well, the only reason I stumbled across it is because the only album I could find it on is the Godzilla soundtrack.
Godzilla, the newest one?
The one before the newest one.
Okay.
Number 17 or instead of number 18, yeah. 1998.
Yeah.
Tom Comerford, Zach De La Rocha, Tom Morello, Brad Wilk are the writers.
Oh, I'm so upset that I didn't get that.
I'm ecstatic.
So upset.
And by the way, just you know, we talked a few weeks ago about me going to that
therapist
Flomo rock show.
Yeah.
And I was talking to a buddy of mine that's the band Hello Newman.
Right.
My friend Matt, that was our sponsor or our host there at least.
Right. Can't believe I didn't get that.
He's been listening to the podcast while he's mowing the lawn. And he's been struck by the fact that I don't know shit about the music his band plays, because he's mostly 80s and 90s covers, grunge covers.
Oh,
and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm out there by myself with my earbuds in, mowing the lawn, yelling at you, and my neighbors think I'm fucking crazy. I'm like, well, they're probably right about that, but I'm glad to have a little part of it.
Your mental
I specifically reached out put this in there, thinking that, well, here's a song that I know of the kind of shit that they would do. And, anyway.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I missed that, and I won his set list.
Yeah, he did, by the way, agree to do that. This is just a little side segue here. Side segue. I don't need both words.
No, I like it.
A little segue.
Let's do that.
Because he said I don't know shit about his music. Reed, who is much more knowledgeable about that era than I am,
which wouldn't be evidenced right now, but you know,
said that we should reach out to Matt and have him send us each half of his set list.
Yeah.
Which we could then clue each other, and that would prove that Reed saying that, because it would prove that he does know the shit and I don't. And by the way, when I asked Matt to do it, he agreed to do that, and he clarified that he wasn't saying that we didn't know his music. He was saying that I didn't know his music. He wasn't referencing you.
Well, I can certainly bring my own fail to the table without your help. So I would just, I think it would be fun to do that. And then,
well, we're gonna.
Yeah, it'd be great.
And he's also agreed to be a guest, to come and be a guest.
I was thinking that too. I didn't say it, but I was thinking that would be cool as well. We've got a handful of people who
we just
right
need
now
to
would
actually
make great
start
guests.
doing
Right,
it.
we got to plan it. It's all about the summer thing. Okay, it's time for you to trip over this lyric clue. You should know this song.
Get yourself a cooler and lay yourself low is the lyric. Can I have another line, please?
Oh, I thought that one would slap you upside the head right away. Here is your second lyric clue.
Coincidental MOYDAHHH and nothing to show. Well, if you hadn't put Moida in there, I wouldn't have known, but now I know. It's our boys from Boston, Aerosmith.
That's right.
Same old story?
Yes.
Is that the same song?
Same old song and dance.
Same old song and dance?
Yeah.
Coincidental MOYDAHHH.
I thought that Get Yourself a Cool, because what other song has Get Yourself a Cooler and Lay Yourself Low?
Yeah.
But definitely Coincidental MOYDAHHH with the way he emphasizes the MOYDAHHH. What a great song. Again, I could go back into it, but I have raved about Aerosmith's first
3 or
5
4,
albums.
Yeah.
Oh, just.
Oh, yeah. I mean, straight up rock and roll. Just good time
Yes.
music.
And really good. That was from 1974. Now you can go run and throw up about.
No. I actually would have known that was pretty much because that was. Is that Toys in the Attic.
Get Your Rocks.
Get Your Rocks.
Get Your Rocks.
Okay, so that would have been on several turntables in my early teens, mid-teens.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I think my girlfriend Laura, like, I think that was one that was pretty much, if I walked in the house, it was already on the turntable.
Right. Get Your Rocks and Toys in the Attic were in everybody's Peaches Crate album set.
Yes.
At every house that we would circulate at, during that time. Everybody had those albums. But there are other albums in kind, but those Aerosmith albums in particular. Okay, so that was written by Joe Perry, Steven Tyler, Stephen Victor Tallarico, and it's up to you to make a fool out of me now.
Well,
or make a hero.
You're certainly capable of doing that on your own.
On my own.
You definitely should know this song.
I really appreciate that sentiment from you. Okay, what Race thinks I should know is they were so ecstatic when the letter arrived.
And that's going to be a phrasing one for you.
They were so ecstatic when the letter arrived. Okay, hit me again. Second clue is a certified genius at the age of 5. Love the lyric.
This might be what I would call a deep track, but the artist is very well known and you are familiar with them.
They were so ecstatic when the letter arrived. A certified genius at the age of 5.
So is the emphasized word in that first.
Who is it?
Pat Benatar.
Really?
Yeah. Tune is Evil Genius. Off the Precious Time album. One of my favorite tunes. Written by Pat and her husband Neil Giraldo.
I gotta say, I never did much Pat Benatar deep tracks. Never really.
My brother was a huge fan, so that was one of those artists that we, at least the first couple of plays, listened to every tune.
Right.
Yeah. And like every other American male in 1978 through 83, I had a crush on Pat Benatar, as did my brother.
I think probably because she had, like, in my mind at least, her career was sort of compressed, right? She had a period, 15 years of really, really hot, like, she had a lot of songs on the radio.
Oh, yeah.
And I could hear Pat Benatar all the time. I didn't, you know
so
what
you
I'm
didn't buy
saying?
the albums.
I didn't.
Yeah.
She had a lot of her songs, and a lot of her songs were hits on the radio. And I was like, not motivated. You know what I'm saying? It's weird to think about, but I think I was never like, I'm going to grab a Pat Benatar album and listen to more.
The first 3 or 4 albums, and I think this might be the 4th album. I could be wrong about that. I could easily be wrong about that.
Right.
But the first 3 or 4 albums, every song. 1981, by the way. And again, the album was Precious Time.
Well, I dig Pat Benatar, and I'm sorry I didn't know that song, and I'm going to go listen to it. The lyric is cool. Okay. Is it me? Is it up to me now?
And we probably have 1 or 2 more each here.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet. I'm going to try to stump you with this one. You should know this song. I don't think I'm going to stump you with that at all.
I've been a puppet, a pauper, a pirate, a poet, a pawn, and a king. Isn't that David Lee Roth?
Oh, no, you're kind of in the right vein. He did a cover. It's not his song. I'll give you the next.
He did a cover?
He did a cover of a song very similar to this. I don't know that he did this song as a cover. I'm not aware that he did.
Give me this.
Here's the second lyric.
I've been up and out and over and under, and I know one thing. Okay, I'm not going to
This is a reach back.
I'm not going to get it, but you go ahead.
Okay.
What is it?
That's life. That's life. That's what all the people say.
That's Frankie.
Yeah.
Yes. David Lee Roth did do a cover of this.
He did. I
Yes,
never heard it. Okay.
That's why I knew the lyric the way that it popped into my head.
Right. He did. I'm just a gigolo.
Yeah, it was on the one with him all with the African makeup.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he did. He did covers of, some classics, but I didn't listen to. I didn't follow David Lee
He
Roth
didn't do it
at all.
as a classic, so I'm going to say that I got that one.
Yeah, I'll give it. I'll give it to you, and we can check it out. I didn't follow much of David Lee Roth after Van Halen. I didn't follow David Lee Roth when he was with Van Halen.
There you go.
But I certainly didn't.
He's kind of hard to see if he's in the crowd. You know what I'm saying?
But I didn't, keep tabs on him or really listen to albums. The songs that hit the radio I heard, but that's pretty
Sure.
much it. So it may very well be. So that is the fantastic song, That's Life. And part of the reason I had that on the list, ultimately the reason it got on the list is because it popped into my head, and that's what we're supposed to do. The lyric hit my head, and I was like, I got to put it on the list,
Sure.
right? But also, I get country songs in my head and whatever. I don't include them in here because they're not in the whatever the hell rock
Wheelhouse.
vein wheelhouse is. This song, I believe, is a rock song. It's a rock song from 1965, but it rocks.
That,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, presentation.
Frankie's presentation is, full of that beat, da, 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 you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's great. So I love the song, and I thought it's in the thing. Don't tell me that's not rock and roll,
There you
like we
go.
said. In the,
There's a couple of Frank Sinatra songs, and being my age, I'm probably more familiar with it than many of our listeners are.
right.
When I was, even until the time I was 15 years old, he was still a big name, putting out music all the time.
Right.
It's funny, he did a version of Sweet Caroline that's kind of a jazz take.
Yeah.
And it's way over the top and very like I'm sure that my kids will listen to it and go, oh my God, that's so
Right,
bad.
right. So gross.
But anyway, he rocked.
yeah.
He was the man for a little bit.
Yeah.
In music, period.
He
So,
knew how to stomp for sure.
absolutely.
I mean, even in his
and he came from a jazz background. I mean, he's
Right.
So
So
as
it
much
came
as
from
he
there.
became whatever got called adult contemporary, and the music swung to meet him. Popular music swung to meet his style.
Yes.
But he came from being a big band singer.
Right.
When he was in his early 20s. I mean, like way the fuck back.
Right. Right.
And if I had two brain cells to rub together right now, I could probably tell you what big bands
He
was
played
in.
with.
And I'm sure my
Sure.
sister is, when she's going to listen to this, is going to be going, "Oh, you idiot!
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
blah, blah,
you know
blah."
this.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
this, right? Why
So,
aren't you saying?
Anyway,
Okay, so the propers on that song are that it was written by Dean Kaye and Kelly L. Gordon, first recorded and performed by Marion Montgomery in 1965, and then Frank Sinatra recorded it in 1966. And I don't really have an album name to go with that because two different performers and so on and so forth. So, yeah, that was fun to talk about and fun to do. So,
all right, Reed.
stick that in your
my
pipe.
friend Reed. Smipe and poke it. Put that in your smipe and poke
Put
it.
that in your smipe and poke it.
You, sir, should absolutely know this song.
Okay, here's what we've got. I've been doing pretty poorly so far.
Not surprising.
I got to get on it. I got one and then missed three now, I think. Okay, beware of pretty faces that you find. My mind just went to two different songs. Give me a second clue. A pretty face can hide an evil mind. Now it's not the song. I thought it was Smiling Faces by, yeah. Beware of pretty faces that you find. A pretty face can hide an evil mind. Do I know? I know this song.
Oh yeah.
I'm not.
Nothing, huh?
I'm blanking.
Okay,
again.
so there was a version of this that was actually
Blankety
covered
blanking
by Devo. That I just heard in the last week for the first time.
Oh,
and it's
I love
really
it.
fucking cool. But they don't actually. The song is Secret Agent Man by Johnny Rivers.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
You know why that's super stupid? Is because I have that clue in my list to give on a later show.
Oh, nice.
I can't believe it. Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, Johnny Rivers, and written by Johnny Rivers. Or, no, I'm sorry, performed by Johnny Rivers. The songwriters were P.F. Sloan and Steve Barry. 1966, and the album from Johnny Rivers was "And I Know You Want to Dance." But the thing with the Devo version, and before I go there,
remember
there was a
hearing
TV show
Devo.
called Danger Man in the 60s that was big in the UK and was here a little bit.
Okay.
And this was the theme song.
Oh,
Secret Agent Man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Devo version is done from the perspective of the Secret Agent Man. So the lyrics are changed around a little bit.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
singing
yeah.
it as though it's me, as opposed to singing about somebody in the third
about
person.
somebody. Right.
Right? But you need to go and listen to the Devo cover because it's fucking
Well,
cool.
I want to.
I mean,
now
if you're
I
a Devo
totally,
fan. And
I think I've heard it because we used to listen to a lot of Devo, but I didn't pay attention to a lot of the Devo we were listening to at the time. I was paying attention to other things.
all right, so you started. I'm going to ask you to do your last one.
Okay. Go ahead and ask me.
Will you
I
do
don't
your
have to
last one?
agree to it, do I? Do I have to agree? Am I under
I
some
can just
contractual...
walk away and do this by myself.
Okay. Here's my last Shot across the bow, friend. You should know this song.
Can you feel, the lyric is, can you feel it, see it, hear it today? If you can't, then it doesn't matter anyway.
I'm hoping it rings to you.
Give me the next line.
This was a popular song. It's not old. This was a really popular song on rock and on sort of crossover radio, but it was surprising because it was too sort of heavy for crossover radio, I think, or should have been.
The next lyric is, you want it all, but you can't have it. That actually rings. What is that?
The guy sing like this, you want it all.
Okay, go ahead. Give me
but
what it is.
You can't have it.
Wait. No, go ahead.
The band is Faith No More.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And does that bring the song to mind? Can you hear it?
I can hear it in bits and pieces.
It's in your face, but you can't grab it. It's a really good song. It's really a cool song. It got a lot of praise and acclaim. It's called Epic.
Yeah.
From Faith No More. It was their big hit.
Want it.
Right.
Yeah.
It was their big hit. It was written by a few people: Michael Allen Patton, Bill Gold, Michael Andrew Borden, Roddy Christopher Bottom, James Blanco Martin. 1990 off of the album The Real Thing, and for a very long time played all over the place. The overhead at the grocery store and all that, and now you kind of don't hear it. But if you haven't heard it or you don't know the song, go listen to it. It's such it was
it's kind of like you said, it's kind of heavy for crossover, but
yeah,
absolutely.
It was a justifiably
Popular.
well played and popular song.
Yeah.
It's a very cool song. The lyrics are super cool. So that's my last one. Let's see what you got, big guy.
Let's see here. I'm going to go with this one just because it's so much fun.
He's spinning the wheel. He's selecting from He's picking a card, any card.
And you should know this song, sir.
Okay, from Guido, I think, over there. I don't know what.
I don't know what that actually was.
I like it, but hey, maybe we'll do a whole show in that motif one day, and then get completely run out of town. The lyric is, I'd rather crawl through poison ivy or grab high tension wires. I know this song.
You know this song. This is right in your neighborhood, pal.
Oh, my gosh, I know this song. I am just brain dead today. Next lyric is, cut my legs off at the knee or set myself on fire.
It's tough.
I just can't hear the phrasing.
It's tough.
Is that the name of the song?
It's Tough Darts.
It's Tough Darts.
That's the name of the band.
Tough Darts is the name of the band?
Your love is like a nuclear waste. They ought to paint contaminated across your face. It was also known as Slash.
I don't know this song.
Oh, you don't know this song? Dude, late 80s punk? Absolutely. They were one of the CBGB bands, like one of the first bands in the punk scene in New York.
Yeah.
Tough Darts. I had a roommate, a very small, very mean-spirited roommate in college.
It's coming to mind.
And he...
you got that sort of terrified look on your
Tough
face,
Darts,
remembering.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that little jerk in a long time. Tough Darts was one of his favorite bands.
Huh.
He did a lot of...
And you said Slash was in Tough Darts?
Slash was one of the names of this song.
Oh, I see.
Because they might not have gotten it across airplay if it was Your Love is Like a Nuclear Waste.
Your Love is Like a Nuclear Waste.
So the stuff about that is the band is Tough Darts, written by Tough Jeff. By the way, that's Tough T-U-F-F.
T-U-F-F, of course.
Tough Jeff Salin and John DeSalvo. 1978. Tough Darts was also the name of the album.
I got to go look that up.
You do.
I love
Your
the whole thing.
love
The
is like
lyric.
a nuclear waste. They ought to be contaminated across your face.
I love the lyric. It's so great. Okay, that brings us to the close of the segment we affectionately call Prime Cuts, and all the excitement that comes along with it, right?
Well, hopefully you can find your way. I'm segueing here.
Oh,
find your way down Route
look
66.
At what you did. Oh, look at what
And
you did.
while you're doing that, maybe you can figure out some songs.
Yeah,
You
maybe
haven't
I
known
can.
any of those.
Maybe
and
I
some
can
of them were easy.
just guess
And it's
once or two.
so rare that I come out ahead of you on a segment that.
Well, I don't know that it's rare, but neither one of us enjoy it when we're bombing. You did fairly well there, and but let's look at the tote board.
It could be a lot of it.
Let's look at the tote board. So yeah, we're moving on to Route 66.
It's gonna cost you an arm and a leg. You could put it on the cuff. Sorry.
He's still going on. We're at his house, so I got to let him go.
There you
There's
go.
nothing I can do about it.
How can you miss me if I won't go away?
Exactly.
All right, so we're gonna move on to Route 66.
We are going to move on to Route
and
66.
the idea here is share a song that's got some locations in it.
Right. So it's a verbal exchange. You name a song. The other person should name. We're just going to say at least one, but preferably two or three if the song has two or three.
Right.
Locations named in the song. And locations, not to get too far into it, might be a city, a town, any place, somewhere out of the country, a state,
a country,
a
foreign city,
a region.
whatever. Yes.
So it's open. It's open.
Yeah.
Places.
We've
It's
done
naming places.
Kathmandu, and that was all just regions. There was no.
Right. So they're not necessarily on Route 66,
Right.
but you get the reference. So we'll stop blathering about that part now and give you more credit for
All
being
right, and I
intelligent.
guess I'm going to start this,
You start.
and this may be one that I've given you before. So the song that you should know some of the locations
for.
is "My City Was Gone" by the Pretenders.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that was weird.
love that
Hello,
song.
accent,
No,
that's weird. Yeah.
the song just went do 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 do. So Ohio, of course,
Yes,
and Seneca to Cahoga Falls.
yes, and those are the ones that I have captured.
Right,
Those three. I don't
right.
know that there's any more in that song. What a great song, and what a
Love the
great
song.
fucking album.
Love the song.
I think that may have been their debut. No, because it's from 82. 82, they were already out by then, right?
Yeah.
Chrissy Hine. This is
Yeah.
not, Learning to Crawl is the album, so it's probably not their debut. But man, for some reason I think it is. I'll have to look that up for the next time.
I thought their first album was called Pretenders.
It may have been. That's what I said. I'll have to look that
Yeah.
up for next time. I don't
Chime
know.
in, folks. Chime in out there in
Please.
Apes
Again, there's
listener
people out there
land.
yelling, "You're an idiot." Here's
Right,
what
right.
Don't
you
missed the
know
first two. Yes.
it's track 3 off of
Yes.
that song brings to mind, we want to play all the songs.
Yes.
Right? Everything that comes up, we're like, in my head, I start to hear it, right? I
Right.
hear the whole thing. And I'm like, I just want to play it right now. I just want to play it.
Boom.
That song
Boom. What a great bass line.
That song is one of those especially want to play it
Yeah.
right now on the podcast
Yes.
songs.
And
Like,
My City Was Gone.
want to stop what I'm doing, just listen to that song through, and then get back to the show.
And by the way, we covered this in a previous episode. Your brother-in-law is saying that it's a bad, like what we're doing is a bad business model because
Right,
it sends people away.
Right, it triggers.
If you
people
want to stop and go listen to that right now, we want you to come
More
on back
power
when you're
to you.
done.
Yeah.
But man, go listen to that.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
The idea is that we're getting these, other than amusing each other as effectively as we are, getting these songs in your head to go, oh my gosh, I got to go listen to that lyric, that song, got to get that hook in my head again, whatever. Sure, go do it. Just come back.
Yeah.
Promise.
Yeah,
Promise
we'll
us
be
that
here.
you'll
We're
come
not going
back.
anywhere.
Don't break our little ape hearts. Oh, okay, my turn.
I'm going to cry now.
Are you ready?
I am ready. What do you got?
You should know
Something?
there's only really one town you could name other than the town named in the title of the song Leaving Las Vegas by Sheryl Crow.
And I can't listen to the song. It won't start playing in my head. I don't know. What do you got?
It's Barstow. And that one I kind of was trying to figure out the name that you
Is it
would
in the
know
song?
of the location is in
Is
the
it in
title
the
of the
song?
song, so you got to give it away by naming the song. But then, is there anybody out there who knows the lyrics well enough that they know the Barstow lyric
And I'm not that
buried
person.
in there?
Yes,
You know what I
yes.
mean?
And Sheryl Crow she's one of those for me, like, I don't ever go search it out.
Right.
But when I hear someone, I'm like, oh, I like that song. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't ever
have
go
a
looking
few,
for her.
I have a few Sheryl Crow CDs that I have done the front to back thing. She has made some very
I
good
saw
music.
her somewhere at a festival, and I want to say it was in Chicago because I want to say Buddy Guy was the other big act that day. But how long has she been?
Oh my gosh. Well, this was from '93 off of Tuesday Night
Okay,
Music
yeah,
Club.
she would have been around when I was trying to determine whether I had the correct reference.
Yeah.
show in my head.
Time reference, right?
Time reference. So
show.
yeah, she had a big hit.
She had a few.
A big hit, Santa Monica Boulevard. Mm-hmm. And I just happened to be in L.A.
All I want to do is have some fun.
when that song, or to be in L.A. when that song was a hit. And I was actually driving a rental car. I wasn't on Santa Monica Boulevard, but I was driving a rental car on a beautiful L.A. day. And it was one of the very few times I've even been there. And that song came on the radio. I'm like, how cool is
Right.
this? This is L.A.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Things. The setting is perfect.
Yep. So anyway.
So that was Sheryl Crow from Tuesday Night Music Club album 1993, written by Sheryl Crow, Bill Bottrell, Kevin Gilbert, David Francis, Bayerwald, and David Ricketts. And I just feel like saying this and adding to the time we're taking up boring people to tears. She had so many cool radio hits like off the bat, and she started winning Grammys and all that. And her hits were pop and crossover and adult contemporary radio play and all that.
Not really rock and roll.
I think some of the credit that she should have gotten for really being a very ingrained musician and like being part of the thread. She's in the background and played with so many people through these years. Like she's the legit shit. You know what I mean?
I think when you're talking about that, it reminds me of John Mayer.
John Mayer.
He's one that like that some of my more rock and rolly friends would go like, yeah, I'm not. But man, the motherfucker can play. He can sing. He's a songwriter.
I've said it before. Listen, take a minute. I challenge you. I absolutely challenge anybody out there to listen to the John Mayer Trio live album.
Oh, he's got some blues chops. Man.
I mean, that album will floor you. And then just go look around at who he has. And, the fact that he really got into the blues and he really became a well-respected blues guitarist. And kind of some people, begrudged it to him because look at you, you were a pop star.
Right.
And who do you think you are?
But that's where he came from.
But the people who are real blues artists, B.B. King, Eric Clapton, go look at some of the live performances he did with them and some of the other things. Yeah. And you will
Before he was huge.
You will be convinced.
Yeah.
Actually, after he was huge.
Really?
I think to his credit, he took his super success, like he got super ass famous, right?
Right.
And he went, okay, now I'm going to
go what I want to do.
Know what really the roots of all this is about. I'm going to know. Sure. I'm going to know my shit, right? I'm going to get involved in it and be able to play with these people. And he was not screwing around. Anyway, we got from Sheryl Crow to
John Mayer.
10-minute diatribe on John Mayer. So it's you, and you got to quiz me.
You need to be able to, and you can do this one. I mean, as bad as you've been doing today, you can do this one. And that felt so good to say. You have to be able to tell me the locations in Willin' by Little Feat.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you.
But you're going to have to play the song.
Thank you. It's in my head. Tucson to Tucumcari and what is the Hatchapeta, Tonopah. That's what I.
And he's got a couple others. He does mention Dallas.
Yep, Dallas, Alice,
Mexico.
Uh-huh.
So that's Willin' by Little Feat, written by Lowell George, off their first album, Little Feat.
I'm just playing the song.
1971,
I'm just
and
bathing in the song
apparently
right now.
Those lyrics were inspired by their tour bus driver.
I did read that somewhere.
I think I heard Lowell George talking about it.
Maybe that's what it was. I do remember something about it ringing in my head.
But if you give me weed, whites, and wine,
yeah, and
you show me a sign,
yeah,
and that's
which
all.
Makes sense. I mean, you know, I've been from Tucson to Tucumcari.
Yep.
Anyway, go ahead. You got the propers there?
I do. 1971, Lowell George, Little Feat. I already said all that.
Nice. That's a good one to have rolling around in my head.
I knew you'd like that.
Now it's hard to concentrate. Okay, my turn. My turn. Me. All right, how about if you know what area you would drive through in the song Heart of Gold by Neil Young?
He's been to Hollywood and he's been to Redwood. Well, he's searching for a heart of gold.
You got it. You got it. Those are the ones, other than in my mind.
Which is a whole other territory of
right. I don't know that you're Route 66 in that. Not driving without being under the influence or something
Absolutely.
like that. Over the legal limit. So that's from Neil Young, 1972, off the album Harvest, and the song is Heart of Gold. And that one went easier than I thought. I didn't know if you would get that right off the bat. So now you got to spin one around for me.
All right, so this is a little bit of a tricky one. There are lots and lots of locations, but the song may not be as familiar to you as it is to me. A tune called Promised Land.
By who?
By Chuck Berry was the original, but that's probably not the version you know if you know a version. It was covered by Dave Edmunds in 1971.
So is it like a rockin' tune?
It's much more. Left my home in Norfolk, Virginia, California on my mind.
Huh.
No, huh?
It's not ringing a bell.
Okay.
It's not ringing a bell.
It's definitely like in your Dave Edmunds rock pile era. You would like it. So I'm not going to waste any time on that then. But, I mean, there's a boatload. Albuquerque, Atlanta, Birmingham, Charlotte, Houston, Los Angeles, New Orleans,
Oh, my gosh. I have to know about
Raleigh,
that song.
Rock
I feel like
Hill.
I should know it.
Yeah, we should be playing that right now.
Exactly.
1964, written by and performed by Chuck Berry on the album St. Louis to Liverpool.
Huh.
But I became aware of it. I never heard it as a Chuck Berry song. I heard it as Dave Edmunds. And, he does like...
Yeah.
What's the other one?
Dave Edmunds does, or Chuck Berry?
Dave Edmunds does. I hear you knocking.
Oh, yeah.
So it's on that same album.
Left me a long
time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's on that same album, I believe. But anyway, Promised Land. It's a great tune. And what you need to do now is need to go and find both versions.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I want to go look it up right now, but I'm not gonna interrupt things that way.
All right. So I started this, so I'm going to ask you to do one, and then we'll do one more. Is that cool?
I think that'll work out just perfectly. I am going to say to you, I really hope this comes off right, because this is a little bit of a tricky one right here. It's kind of cheating. I'll put it that way. I'm kind of cheating. But there are locations, physical locations named in this song. So, but I'm prefacing it. So, the song Tempted by Squeeze.
Well, there's the car park in the airport.
Yeah, that's right.
And
he drives past the church.
And the steeple of the Laundry on the Hill.
Laundry on the Hill,
yes.
right.
So is that all of those?
That's, and then the Baggage Carousel, of course.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a great tune.
That's all good enough, but I was like,
I
have to put it in there. The song popped into my head, and I was like, those are locations. You got to put it in there. It's just good to think about that song and hear it in your head. So there it was, and it worked. Nice job, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay, written by Chris Difford, Glenn Tilbrook. Difford and Tilbrook. 1981 from the album East Side Story. And that puts it on you for one more and then me for one more.
Yeah. So, do you remember the 35 Sweet Goodbyes? What are the locations that you would hear in the song by Steely Dan, My Old School?
Wolverine. Annandale. U.S. Mail. Oh, I got to play the whole song, don't I? Oh, my God. In my head. Mexico. Guadalajara.
That's all of them.
Okay.
There's one more.
I thought there was one more.
There is one more. When is he going back to Annandale? When California tumbles into the sea?
It's California tumbles.
There you go.
Yeah. California.
Yes. Countdown to Ecstasy, 1973. Becker and Fagan, Steely Dan. I love that song.
I almost had an aneurysm thinking about that. Did you see the look on my face?
I did, yeah. I thought you might keel over. One of the many great guitar solos in Steely Dan music.
Yes. I mean, just really great. That's an interesting observation. They had a lot of really cool guitar solos.
Now, you know that we've talked about them ad nauseum, not necessarily on air or on podcast. But they were largely, after the first album or two, they were largely just a studio band. Correct. And they would bring artists in, and we're talking Oh, and all of a sudden, all the names jumped out of my head. Larry Carlton,
I was
phenomenal
gonna
guitarist.
Yes.
Jeff Baxter, phenomenal guitarist. Right.
Right.
And many other great guitarists.
Many.
And they would bring them in to do a solo or a part of a song, and they would, check this out now, they would pick and choose pieces of the solos from the multiple artists and piece them together.
What?
Like, can you imagine, like, saying to Larry Carlton, yeah, we're going to take these two bars and pop them in the middle of this Jeff Baxter solo? Like, I would be punching somebody in the face if that was me.
So they
did
sort of Frankenstein of
Yes.
guitar solos and parts.
And not just guitar solos, all
in
different
songs?
kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, I'm saying all like musical parts.
Yeah. The only place they didn't really seem to fuck with that was their drummers. Because their drummers were Bernard Purdie and Steve Gadd and...
Yeah, but how is that not applicable? That respect not applicable
It's not,
to
it's
the
not,
other
I don't know
players?
that, I don't think it has anything to do with respect. It probably has to do with how hard it would be to piece together drum bits.
That is fantastic and disturbing.
Yeah. Like, that to me, that's so disrespectful.
Well, on one hand, on the other hand, it's brilliant
Oh, yeah.
to think that you're like, you're so aware of what you want
you
the end
want to
result
hear.
to be.
Yes.
You're like, you've got the solo that so and so played yesterday had that little bit in it that would fit perfectly here. What
Right.
is wrong with you right there?
Right.
I mean, holy shit, there's either some superhero capability or some serious psychological issue going on.
Which is often the case. One or the other.
Right. They often go hand in hand.
All right. So
That's
you
crazy.
got that one. You pulled those off.
More fascinating stuff from the mixtapes, and you should know this song, for you to go spend an afternoon and get in trouble peddling around the internet to find out. Have I mentioned Wikipedia yet? I won't.
You haven't.
Okay, this topper is exactly kind of how I hoped this segment would end because of the... well, you'll get it here in just a minute. So you should be able to name a number of places in the song, I've Been Everywhere.
I actually ran across that song while doing this, working for this episode.
And to clue you in, just name a town.
Yeah. I've been everywhere, man. I see. Of course, I can't hear the
This
song.
song has the most named places of any song, 92, and almost any major city in the United States is named.
Yeah. And I can't.
And
hear
then
them
a
right
lot
now.
of cities out from. So
Yeah.
I won't go through them all, but Reno, Chicago, Fargo, Minnesota, Buffalo, Toronto, Winslow, Sarasota, Wichita, Tulsa, Ottawa, Oklahoma, Tampa.
And that's in the right order.
Yeah, I'm reading the actual lyrical.
Yeah.
All I did was peel the lyrics out of the
Yeah.
sheet and stick them in my.
Yeah.
They're in the right order. They're 92.
That's a great tune, and that's not just him, right?
That was the background on the song. For those of you who are interested, it's been recorded by a lot of people, and there are a lot of touring bands. I can't remember the name right now of a band that still tours right now and uses this as sort of one of their
Standard pieces.
standard songs. It was written by Jeff Mack, originally performed by Jeff Mack, then the band Lucky Star shortly after, and Hank Snow had a really big hit with it, which prior to Johnny Cash
was the defining version.
being as
Yeah.
recognized, but inarguably the Johnny Cash version is so noted because of generational things. Hank
Right.
Snow's version was huge.
Right.
But that
before
was
we were even listening to music.
correct.
Right.
Correct. That was in 62.
Right.
And it was more of a country hit. It was not in the vein of anything. I was only born in 62, so I wasn't hearing it then. And Johnny Cash did his version in 96, so it really got
Yeah. I
way
mean,
more
he was way beyond a
contemporary.
country artist at that
Right,
point. He
right.
was an icon by then.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was originally written by Jeff Mack and Michael Fabian in 1959, and then the others, had their hits as I just named. But the song's got a really storied Wikipedia page. It's worth going to look up how many roads that song has driven down.
I see what you did there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the version I know is the Johnny Cash version.
Yeah.
I mean, like, nonstop.
All the 92 places are named in all
and
of
when
that.
he
Basically,
says them, he's saying them much faster than you repeated.
It's like a rap song.
Yeah.
It's super like a rap song. Yeah. It's just, that ba-ba-da, 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 thing. It's very cool. Very cool
Very
song.
cool.
Anyway.
Well, that pulls us to the far end of Route 66, which is somewhere in California, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, well, I think that brings us to the end of Route 66, and probably to the end of the episode.
Yeah.
From a time perspective, we're near an hour, and
right. We've been going on a bit, so we'll
imagine that.
We'll call it a close. We'll say thanks for tuning in. We'll say thanks for listening, and man, we really appreciate all of the apes out there, but we really appreciate getting to do this.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're sitting in my backyard with a cold beverage.
Yeah.
Bullshitting with each other. What could be more fun than that?
One of my few complaints about being outside so far, I have to say, is that as of about 20 minutes, the neighbor fired up the grill.
And it smells wonderful.
And now I just don't want to do anything but eat. So I'm going to be hangry.
There you go.
From here on for the rest of the day.
Hey, thanks for the wonderful smells.
Anyway, we are Mixtapes. This has been You Should Know This Song.
You should know this song. And there's the neighbor.
Love it. It's our lyric challenge podcast that we blather, do commentary, and entertain each other. Hopefully, also some other people out there in Apes Land. Those three people out there in Apes Land. And we hope that you will
follow, share,
tell
join
others,
in,
comment,
please.
Respond,
please
feedback.
comment. Let us know.
Tell us you're
We're
stupid.
So lonely.
Tell us you're great. Tell us you stink because you're apes and you need deodorant. Tell us anything like that. Just let us know you're out there alive.
We're as always.
Kicking.
Thank you so much. We're having so much fun, and we could do it without you, but it wouldn't be anywhere near as much fun.
Yeah,
we
don't want
mostly
to.
we are doing without you, but we'd still like to have you here. Let us know you're out there.
Still would. All right, so signing off until next time around.
Remember, humankind, be both.
Hey, that was very nice. And donate to Wikipedia. I had to get one in there. It's been the whole show.
See you next time, folks.
Peace.
Thanks.